I couldn't see, but you're with me in the silence. And in the dark you stay so close without a sound. There was something slowly shifting deep inside me, like a quiet kind of light that wrapped around. I couldn't see, but I could feel you drawing near me, like a calm I didn't know I needed then. Every moment started clearing in your presence, like my vision opening again. All this time I walked in shadows without meaning. Every face would fade away before it stayed. Nothing felt like it would ever really matter. Just another empty, fragile day. I kept moving but I never really noticed. There was something gently guiding all my steps. Even when I felt completely disconnected, you were there and never left. And in the stillness, something opened up within me. Not in force, but like a breath I couldn't see. There was no voice, but I could feel the direction, like you were leading me. I couldn't see, but now I feel you all around me, in the silence, in the air, in everything. There's a gentle kind of knowing in your presence, like my soul remembering. I couldn't see, but now it's slowly becoming clearer. Not in flashes, not in fear, but calm and true. Every moment softly turning into vision, leading me back into you. In the dark you stay beside me without leaving. Now I see what I was never meant to lose. It was never gone or hidden in the distance. It was always leading me to you. Your faith carried Your faith carried you through the silence and the darkness, even when you felt like no one else could see. There was something gently pulling you much deeper, like a thread leading you quietly. Your faith held you even when your hands were shaking, even when your breath was fading into fear. There was something in the reaching and the longing that was drawing something near. Through the crowd and through the distance you were moving. Every step felt like it might be your last. Every moment filled with doubt and hesitation. Every memory tied to the past. But inside there was a hope you couldn't silence, like a whisper that refused to disappear. when it didn't make sense to believe it. You kept moving through the fear. And the moment that you reached into the unknown, something shifted without force, without a sound. It was not the strength you had, but what you trusted that turned everything around. Your faith slowly made you whole without you knowing. Not in power, but in letting go of pain. In the quiet, something deeper started flowing, washing through you like the rain. Your faith carried you into a place of healing, where the weight you held no longer had control. In the stillness you can feel it softly settling, as it restores your soul. It was small, but it was enough to move the moment. Now you feel what you could never fully prove. Your faith carried you into a deeper healing, and it's still carrying you.
Rise and walk, you don't have to stay where you have been. In the silence there's a moment you can enter in. There's a movement deep inside you, slowly waking, like a step you've always known. Rise and walk, even if it feels uncertain, even if the ground beneath you feels unknown. There's a quiet strength that's rising without pressure, calling you to move on. All these years you waited watching without moving. Every day became a mirror of the last. Every hope felt like it slowly disappeared. Every future tied to what had passed. But the voice that came was never loud or forcing. It was simple, but it stayed inside your chest, like a truth that didn't need to be explained. Only follow step by step. In the moment you decided just to trust it, even slightly something shifted deep within. Not because you suddenly felt strong or ready, but because you leaned in. Rise and walk, feel the motion slowly forming, like a current pulling gently through your soul. There's a freedom in the act of just beginning, letting go of control. Rise and walk in the calm of your surrender. In the quiet you are more than you believe. There's a path that's opening without resistance, if you're willing just to leave. One step forward changes everything before you, even if it feels like nothing at the start. You were never meant to stay within the waiting. You were always meant to start. Do you wanna be well now? In the quiet, tell me slowly. Not the fear that's been holding you, but something real and holy. Do you wanna be free now? Even if it feels uncertain, There's a door that's standing open. You don't have to close the curtain. Do you wanna be well now? Not tomorrow, not someday. In this moment there is something you don't have to turn away. Do you wanna be whole now? Feel it moving deep inside. There's a voice that keeps on calling from the place you try to hide. All these days have felt the same, like they're circling around you. Every thought just keeps returning to the place that once confined you. Every step you try to take felt like nothing ever changed, like the weight you kept on carrying was permanently arranged. You remember how it started, but you don't know how to end it. Every time you try to leave it, something pulled you back again. And in the silence you kept hearing something you would try to ignore, like a question that was waiting softly, knocking at the door. It was never loud or forcing, it was always gently there. Not demanding any answers, just inviting you somewhere. In the middle of your thinking, in the middle of your doubt, there was something slowly forming, asking what you're about. Do you wanna be well now? Let the question settle in you. Not the version that you're used to, but the one that's deep within you. Do you wanna be free now from the weight you learned to carry? There's a truth that's standing near you. You don't have to be so wary. Do you wanna be whole now? Let it move without resistance. Not a fight or explanation, just a shift in your existence. Do you wanna be well now? You can feel it if you stay. In the quiet something changes when you stop and choose to stay. Maybe you were grown accustomed to the pain you always knew. Maybe it became a shelter even if it wounded you. Maybe there was something easier in staying where you are than to risk a different future that might feel a little far. But the moment that you noticed that the choice was always yours, there was something breaking open like a light through hidden doors. Not in pressure, not in force, and not in anything outside, but a quiet kind of courage slowly rising from inside. You don't need to have it figured, you don't need to understand. Just to step into the moment, just the reaching of your hand. What you choose becomes the turn, and what you say becomes the way. And the healing starts to follow when you no longer delay. Do you wanna be well now? Feel it moving like a river, washing through the places in you thought would last forever. Do you wanna be free now from the story you've been telling? There's a life that's softly waiting past the place where you were dwelling. Do you wanna be whole now in the calm of your decision? Not a dream or distant future, but a present kind of vision. Do you wanna be well now? Stay a little in this space where the answer slowly finds you in the stillness of this place. Maybe fear has been your language, maybe doubt has been your home. Maybe every road you traveled always led you back alone. But the question isn't forcing, it's not pulling you apart. It's a gentle invitation spoken straight into your heart. Not too late and not too broken, not too far to turn around. There's a moment right before you where a different life is found. And the answer doesn't need to be a loud or sudden cry, just a quiet kind of yes that you no longer try to hide. Do you wanna be well now? Let it echo through your being, not in words but in the silence where your soul begins its seeing. Do you wanna be free now? Feel the tension slowly leaving in the space where you are resting in the calm of your believing. Turns to movement and the weakness turns to stronger. Do you wanna be well now? You can feel it starting here in the quiet in the moment where the answer becomes clear. In the silence you have chosen something deeper than before. Not a sudden kind of ending, but an opening of a door. Do you wanna be What you choose becomes the pathway. Now it's opening in you.
You touched me in the silence, and I felt it all around me, like a warmth I never noticed, slowly rising from the ground. You touched me without speaking, but it said more than I needed, like a calm that found its way without a single sound. You touched me in the moment I was holding everything in. Every weight I tried to carry started falling far away. You touched me and I knew it wasn't something I imagined. It was real and it was here, and it was here to stay. I was walking through the distance with a feeling I was fading, like the world was moving past me, but I couldn't really stay. Every thought was growing heavier the more I tried to hide it. Every step was just another way to slowly drift away. I kept holding to the silence like it wouldn't break around me, like if I just stay within it I would never have to feel. But the quiet started changing when your presence moved toward me, and I felt something begin to heal. It was not a sudden moment, it was not a flash of light, just a gentle kind of closeness in the middle of the night. There was nothing I could point to, but I knew it in my chest. Something reaching through the stillness, bringing rest. You touched me, and I felt it moving softly through my breathing, like a current flowing deeper than the places I could see. You touched me, and it opened every space I tried to cover, like a truth that was returning back to me. You touched me and the weight I held was slowly disappearing, not because I tried to change it, not because I understood, but because your presence met me in the place I tried to hide it, and it held me like it should. There were things I never spoke about or tried to understand. There were parts of me I buried where no one could reach my hand. Every memory was layered with the quiet kind of ache, like a fragile piece of something I was scared to let it break. But your touch was never forcing, it was never overwhelming. It was something I could feel without it taking over me. And the more I stayed within it, something deeper started moving, like a hidden part set free. I was never really alone, there was always something near. In the silence I avoided, there was something always here. In the moment I allowed it just to meet me where I am, I could finally understand. You touched me, and I'm breathing like I never did before now, like the air itself is different in the space I'm standing in. You touch me, and the walls I built are slowly turning open, letting something new begin. You touch me and I feel it in the quiet of my being, like a warmth that doesn't leave me even when the night is long. You touch me and I know that I don't have to hold it all now, I don't have to stay this strong. Maybe I was always waiting, maybe I was always near to a moment that would find me when I stopped holding my fear. Not in power, not in pressure, not in something I could prove, but in something I could finally choose. And the touch was never distant, it was always reaching through every place I thought was broken, every part I never knew. And it didn't try to fix me, it just stayed and let me be. And that's what changed me. You touched me in the silence, and I'm resting in the feeling, like a peace that doesn't rush me, like a calm that doesn't fade. You touched me, and I'm slowly understanding what it means now to be held without being afraid. You touched me, and I'm staying in the space you've made around me, not escaping, not resisting, just allowing it to flow. You touch me have to keep on running. I can finally let go. In the quiet I can feel it, something steady, something true. Not a moment passing through me, but a presence I can keep. You touched me and I'm resting in a way I never understood before. Now my soul can finally sleep.
You made me whole in the silence, and I felt it slowly changing, like a weight that I was holding finally slipping from my hands. You made me whole without asking, without forcing any answers, just a calm that found its way into a place I understand. You made me whole and I'm breathing in a way I never noticed, like the air is softly moving through a heart that's finally free. You made me whole and I feel it, like a quiet kind of healing, spreading deeper into every part of me. There were things I tried to carry that were never meant to stay. Every memory kept returning like it wouldn't fade away. Every moment felt connected to a past I couldn't change, like I was always standing in the same familiar place. I kept holding to the story like it defined who I was. Every mark I tried to cover still reminded me, because there were layers I had hidden underneath what I could show, and I didn't really know how to let it go. But your presence didn't rush me, it just met me where I stood. Not condemning, not demanding, just the quiet kind of good. And the more I stayed within it, something started to release, like my soul remembering peace. You made me whole, and I feel it moving softly through my being. Not in waves that crash around me, but in something calm and deep. You made me whole, and I know it in a way I can't explain it, like a promise I can finally keep. You made me whole in the weight I held is slowly disappearing. Not because I tried to change it, not because I understood, but because your love has met me in the space I used to hide it, and it held me like it should. Every place I tried to bury, every fear I tried to name, every quiet kind of struggle that I carried in my shame. There was nothing you avoided, there was nothing you denied. You just stayed there right beside. And the more I let you see me, even parts I couldn't face, there was something gently shifting like a light inside that space. Not removing who I was, but restoring something true, something deeper breaking through. I was never meant to hold it, I was never meant to stay in the shadow of the past that kept on pulling me away. In the moment I released it, even just a little more, I could feel a different shore. You made me whole, and I'm resting in a way I never learned. Not in striving, not in trying, but in something freely earned. You made me whole, and I feel it like a calm that stays within me, even when the night is turned. You made me whole, and I'm staying in the space you've given freely, not returning to the place I used to run and hide. You made me whole, and I know now I am not the same as before. There's a peace I can't deny. Maybe I was always searching, maybe I was always near to a moment that would find me when I stopped holding my fear. Not in effort, not in proving, not in something I could do, but in letting something true. When the healing wasn't distant, it was always reaching in through the places I avoided, through the weight beneath my skin. And it didn't try to rush me, it just stayed and let me be. And that's what set me free. You made me whole, and I feel it in the quiet of my breathing, like a
a life that's softly growing in a place that once was still. You made me whole, and I'm learning I don't have to keep on holding. I don't have to force my will. You made me whole, and I'm standing in a way I never thought I could. Not because I found the answer, but because you understood. This is more than just a moment. This is something that is good. In the silence, I am resting in a way that feels like home. Not a place I have to reach, but something I have always known. You made me whole, and I'm staying in the calm you've given me. Now I'm finally free.
Daughter, you are healed now. You don't have to hide anymore. In the quiet you can feel now. You are safe like never before. Daughter, you are healed now. Let it go, just let it fall. In this moment you can breathe now. You are held through it all. All this time you kept it inside. Every feeling you tried to deny. Walking slowly through the night, holding on just to survive. No one saw the weight you carried. No one heard the silent cry. But in the dark you kept on moving, even when you didn't know why. And then softly you were called, not forgotten, not too small. In that moment something opened. You were seen beyond it all. Daughter, you are healed now. You don't have to hide anymore. In the silence you can rest now, like you've never felt before. Daughter, you are healed now. Feel it slowly in your soul. Every broken part is mending. Every piece becoming whole. Through the crowd and through the distance, through the fear and through the pain, you were reaching without knowing something would begin to change. Not a voice that broke the silence, not a light that filled the sky, just a presence drawing closer, standing gently by your side. You were never left alone. You were always being known. Every step you thought was empty was leading you back home. Daughter, you are healed now. Let the past just fade away. In this calm you can remain now. There is nothing left to say. Daughter, you are healed now. Feel the peace begin to stay, like a river softly flowing, washing every fear away. Maybe you were tired of hiding, maybe you were tired of pain, but the moment you were seen, everything began to change. Not too late and not too far. You were right here where you are. In the stillness and the quiet, you remember who you are. Daughter, you
In this warmth you are surrounded, in a love that doesn't end. Daughter, you are healed now. Stay a little longer here, in this peace that's slowly growing. There is nothing left to fear. In the silence you are resting, in the calm you are renewed. Daughter, now you are healed, and this love will carry you.
You were forgiven now. You can let it all go. In the silence somehow there's a peace you can hold. You are forgiven now. You don't carry it alone. Every weight falling down, you are finally home. All the nights you kept remembering, all the things you couldn't erase. Every moment felt like it stayed written deep, you couldn't replace. Every step felt a little heavier, every breath carried quiet shame. Even when you tried to forget, it was always calling your name. But in the stillness something shifted, like a voice you almost knew. Not condemning, not accusing, just a love reaching through. You are forgiven now. You can let it all go. In the quiet you feel it, like a truth you didn't know. You are forgiven now. There's no need to pretend. Every part that was broken can be whole again. Not a word that was spoken loudly, not a moment that forced a change, just a presence slowly moving through the guilt and through the pain. Like the night was slowly lifting, like the dark was fading out. What you carried for so long lost its power in the now. You were never meant to hold it, you were never meant to stay. In the weight of every failure, there was always a way. You are forgiven now. Feel it deep in your soul. Every shadow that stayed hidden doesn't have to control. You are forgiven now. There is nothing to prove. In this quiet kind of mercy, you are free to move. Maybe you thought you were too far, maybe you thought you went too deep. But the moment grace found you, everything began to release. Not too late and not too broken, not too lost to be restored. In the calm of being known, you are loved even more. You are now. You can finally breathe in the space
place you are held. There is nothing you need. You are forgiven now. Stay a little right here in this love that surrounds you. There is nothing to fear. In the quiet you are resting. In the calm you are renewed. You are forgiven now. And this love is holding you.
He restores the broken places you were hiding, in the silence where the pieces fell apart. There is something gently moving through the shadows, bringing life back to your heart. He restores the broken pieces you were holding, even when you thought they couldn't be repaired. There is something softly working in the stillness, showing you that you are cared. All the moments you were trying just to hold it, every fracture that you never let be seen, every feeling that you buried in the quiet, like it disappeared between. There were nights you felt the weight of being empty, like a space that nothing ever seemed to fill. And you learned to live around it and ignore it, but you always felt it still. And the more you tried to hold it all together, something deeper started breaking through the wall. Not to hurt you, not to leave you in the darkness, but to heal it all. He restores the broken places in the silence, not in force, but like a breath that slowly stays. There is something gently forming in the stillness, bringing you a different way. He restores the broken pieces you were hiding, not removing who you are, but making new. In the quiet you can feel it slowly mending, bringing everything back through. Not a sudden kind of moment, not a turning that removes everything you've ever known, but a process like a river slowly moving through the places you've outgrown. Every crack becomes a place where light is entering. Every scar becomes a place where life can grow. And the things you thought would always stay unfinished start to soften and to flow. You were never meant to carry all the pieces. You were never meant to fix it on your own. There is something in the letting go of holding that begins to make it whole. He restores the broken places you've been guarding, even when you thought they'd never feel the same. There is something softly rising in the silence, calling you back by your name. He restores the broken pieces in your being, not in ways you have to force or understand, but in moments you allow it just to reach you, like a quiet, steady hand. Maybe you have tried to hide it, maybe you have tried to stay in a place that felt familiar even when it caused you pain. But the healing doesn't ask you to become somebody new. It just meets you where you are and slowly carries you. Not too late and not too broken, not too far to be restored. Every piece you thought was missing is still known and held in more.
And the moment you stop running from the places that still ache is the moment something deeper starts to wake. He restores the broken places in the stillness, and you feel it like a calm that doesn't leave. There is something gently holding every fragment as you finally start to breathe. He restores the broken pieces you've been carrying. Now you don't have to pretend they're not there. In the quiet you can feel it slowly healing in a way you can't compare. In the silence something steady keeps on moving. Not a moment but a presence you can trust. He restores the broken places deep within you, and he's not finished with you yet. Peace be still in the middle of the noise around you. In the chaos there is something calm and deep. There is a voice that is speaking through the tension, telling every fear to sleep. Peace be still even when your thoughts are racing, even when your heart is moving way too fast. There is something gently holding you in silence, like a calm that's meant to last. All the waves that kept on rising in your thinking, every worry like a storm you couldn't stop. Every moment felt like something was about to break, like it never really dropped. You kept trying just to quiet all the noise inside you, but the louder that you fought it, the more it grew. And the harder that you tried to understand it, the more it pulled on you. But the calm was never something you could force into place. It was waiting in the stillness, not in running, not in chasing. The moment you allowed it just to meet you where you are, it wasn't far. Peace be still in the middle of the motion, in the places where you thought you would lose control. There is something softly settling in the silence, bringing quiet to your soul. Peace be still, feel it slowly take you over, not in pressure but in letting yourself rest. There is something in the quiet of surrender that will hold you at your best. Not the absence of the noise but something deeper. Not the end of every storm that you may face, but a ground that you can stand on in the middle of the tension and the space. Like the waves are still around you but they're different, like they don't define the way you have to feel. And the more you stay within this quiet presence, the more everything is real. You don't need to have the answers, you don't need to understand. Just a moment in the stillness, just a breath, just where you stand. And the calm begins to meet you not as something far away, but here to stay. Peace be still in the middle of the breaking, in the places where it feels too much to hold. There is something gently moving through the silence, turning chaos into gold. Peace be still, you don't have to keep on fighting, you don't have to prove that you are strong. There is something in the quiet that is holding you exactly where you belong. Maybe you have tried to fix it, maybe you have tried to run. Maybe every way you took just made it harder to become. What you needed wasn't effort, what you needed wasn't more. It was something at the core. And the voice that spoke was never loud or forcing. It was simple, it was steady, it was clear. And the moment you received it in the silence, everything began to hear. Peace be still, feel it settle in your breathing, like a rhythm that is softer than before. There is something gently holding every moment, like you don't have to do more. Peace be still, in the calm you are surrounded, in a way that doesn't leave or fade away. There is is something in this quiet kind of presence that will always stay. In the silence you are resting without trying. In the calm you are exactly where you need. Peace, be still. It's not a moment you are finding. It's a place where you can be.
Open your ears in the quiet, you can hear it. Not a sound, but something deeper in your soul. There's a voice that's been waiting in the silence, calling you to let it flow. Open your ears even when it feels uncertain. Even when the world is louder than before, there is something softly speaking through the stillness, like it's always been before. All this time you were listening to the noise around you. Every thought was like a wave that wouldn't end. Every voice was pulling you in different directions, like it never could defend. What was true was always hidden in the quiet. Not in pressure, not in everything you knew, but in moments where you finally stopped resisting and allowed it to come through. You don't need to chase the answer, you don't need to understand. Just a moment in the stillness, just a breath, just where you stand. Open your ears, feel it moving in your being, like a whisper that is softer than the air. There is something gently forming in the silence, showing you that it is there. Open your ears, you don't have to keep on searching. What you need is closer than you thought before. In the quiet there is something always speaking, not a sound that breaks the silence into pieces, not a force that makes you suddenly aware, but a knowing that is slowly growing deeper, like it's always been right there. Every layer that was covering the stillness starts to fall away without a fight, and the more you stay within it without moving, the more everything feels right. You were never disconnected, you were never far away. It was only in the noise that you couldn't hear the way. Open your ears in the calm, you are receiving everything that you were trying to ignore. There is something in the quiet kind of presence that you've always known before. Open your ears, feel the tension slowly leaving as the silence starts to settle in your chest. There is something gently guiding every moment, bringing everything to rest. Maybe you were always hearing but not listening. Maybe something in you knew but turned away. But the moment you are still enough to feel it, everything begins just to stay. Not too late and not too hidden, not too far to hear the call. There's something softly reaching through the silence that has always held it all. Open your ears, let it move you without effort. Not in force, but like a calm that doesn't fade. There is something in the quiet kind of presence that will always stay. Open your ears, you're not alone in this now. In the silence you are fully understood. There is something gently speaking in the stillness, and it's always been for good. In the quiet you are hearing without trying. In the calm you are exactly where you are. Open your ears and you'll notice something deeper. You were never really far.
I am willing, can you feel it in the silence? Not a question, not a distance, not a maybe. There is something in the stillness that is certain. Something steady, something already. I am willing, it was never held against you. Not a moment where you had to earn your way. There is something softly opening before you. You don't have to turn away. All this time you were wondering if it mattered, if the things you carried made you step aside, if the weight of everything you held inside you kept you standing on the outside. You were asking without saying every question. You were searching without knowing what you find. Every doubt was like a shadow in the silence, every answer undefined. But the voice that met you wasn't hesitating. It was never something distant or unclear. In the quiet it was steady and unchanging, and it met you right here. I am willing, feel it moving through your being, like a truth that doesn't shift or fade away. There is something in the calm of being known now that was always meant to stay. I am willing, you don't have to keep on asking. You don't have to wonder if you're enough. In the stillness there is something already given, something stronger than your doubt. Not a moment where you needed to be different, not a place you had to reach before you came, not a version of yourself you had to become just to stand within this space. Every fear that tried to tell you to keep distance, every thought that said you didn't really belong, starts to loosen in the presence of a truth now that has been here all along. You were never separated, you were never turned away. There was always something holding even when you couldn't stay. In the moment that you feel it without trying to resist, everything begins to shift. I am willing, it is spoken in the silence, not in force but like a calm that fills the room. There is something in the quiet kind of presence that is making all things space you've now entered, showing you how close you are. Maybe you were always thinking there was something left to do. Maybe every step you took was trying to become what's true. But the truth was never waiting on a version you could make. It was always there to take. Not too late and not too distant, not too far to be received. There is something in the silence you can finally believe. In the moment you stop reaching for a place you think you need, is the moment you are free. I am willing, feel it settle in your breathing, like a calm that doesn't leave or fade with time. There is something in the quiet kind of presence that is stronger than your mind. I am willing, you are standing in the answer. Not a question, not a place you have to find. There is something in the stillness that is certain, and it's always been aligned. In the silence you are resting in the knowing, not a distance, not a space you have to cross. I am willing is the answer you were seeking, and it meets you where you are.
He looked at me and there was something in his eyes, not a judgment, not a weight I had to carry. There was something in the silence of that moment that told me I was already worthy. He looked at me and I could feel it in my chest, like a warmth that didn't ask me to explain. There was something in the way that he was seeing that was healing every hidden kind of pain. All this time I thought that I was being measured. Every step was like a test I couldn't pass. Every thought was telling me I wasn't ready. Every moment tied me to the past. I was standing with the question in my silence, not knowing if I should remain or leave. Every part of me was waiting for an answer, but afraid of what I'd receive. But the moment that he saw me without speaking, something shifted deeper than I knew. Not a word was needed in that presence, it was already true. He looked at me and there was nothing left to hide now. Every wall I built was slowly coming down. There was something in the calm of being known there that was turning me around. He looked at me and I could feel it in the stillness, like a peace that didn't need to be explained. There was something in the way that I was seen now that was freeing me from shame. Not a look that tried to change me or correct me, not a voice that told me what I had to be. Just a presence that was steady and unchanging, like it saw the truth in me. Every fear that told me I should keep my distance, every thought that said I didn't belong, started fading in the light of that compassion, like it never had been strong. I was never being pushed away or left outside. There was always something holding me inside. And the more I stayed within that gentle knowing, I no longer had to hide. He looked at me and I am resting in that moment, like a place I didn't know that I could stay. There is something in the calm of being chosen that is not fading away. He looked at me and I am slowly understanding I don't have to earn the space that I am in. There is something in the depth of that compassion that is reaching deep within. Maybe I was always searching for acceptance. Maybe I was always trying to belong. But the answer wasn't something I could build myself. It was there all along. Not too late and not too distant, not too far to be seen. There is something in the quiet that has always been. In the moment I received it, without running from the truth, I could finally begin. He looked at me and I can feel it in my breathing, like a calm that doesn't leave me where I stand. There is something in the quiet kind of presence that is more than I had planned. He looked at me and now I'm staying in the knowing, not returning to the place I used to be. There is something in the way that I am seen now that is setting me free. In the silence I am resting in that vision. Not a moment, but a truth I can remain. He looked at me and everything has changed now. I'm not the same. Your sun lives and the moment starts to change now. What you hope for is no longer far away. There's something in the quiet of that promise that is turning night to day. Your sun lives even before you see the answer, even before you understand the way. There's something in the word that has been spoken that is already at play. You were walking with a question in your spirit. Every step was filled with doubt and fragile hope. Every moment felt like something could be breaking, like you didn't know how to cope. You were reaching for a sign you could hold on to, something visible to quiet all your fear. But the answer came in something far more simple, just a word that you could hear. And it wasn't what you expected or imagined. It was quieter than everything you knew. But the moment that you held it in your being, something deeper became true. Your sun lives, feel it moving through your thinking, like a truth that doesn't need to be explained. There is something in the calm of what was spoken that is already sustained. Your sun lives not because you saw the outcome, not because you held it in your hand, but because you chose to trust it in the moment without needing to understand. Every mile you walked was filled with quiet tension. Every thought was pulling back to what you feared, but the word you held was stronger than the distance. And this day when nothing cleared, and the further that you moved within that knowing, something started settling in your chest, like a peace that didn't come from what was changing, but from learning how to rest. You don't need to see the ending to believe it. You don't need to feel the proof to let it stay. There is something in the truth that's been given that is already the way. Your sun lives, feel the weight of fear dissolving as the silence starts to carry something new. There is something in the calm of what was spoken that is already true. Your sun lives and the distance doesn't matter, and the time cannot erase what has been said. There is something in the word that holds its power even before it's fully read. Maybe you were always searching for a moment where the answer would be clear and fully shown, but the truth was in the trust you held in silence. Even when you felt alone, not too far and not too distant, not too late to understand. There is something in the word that doesn't shift or change or bend, and the moment that you carry it without trying to control is the moment it makes you whole. Your sun lives, feel it settle in your breathing, like a calm that doesn't leave you where you stand. There is something in the quiet kind of presence that is more than you had planned. Your sun lives and you're walking in the answer, even if you haven't seen it with your eyes. There is something in the truth that you are holding that is already alive. In the silence you are resting in the promise, not a question, not a place you need to prove. Your sun lives in the moment you believed it. Everything began to move.
Go in peace now, you don't have to carry what was never yours to hold. In the quiet there's something gently settling, like a calm that fills your soul. Go in peace now, you can rest within it, not a moment that will fade. There's something in the stillness of this presence that will always stay. All this time you were walking through the questions. Every step was leading somewhere you couldn't see. Every moment held the tension in the silence, like you didn't know what it would be. But the path was always forming in the stillness, even when you couldn't understand the way. And the things that felt uncertain in the journey were preparing you to stay. Now the noise is slowly softened into silence, and the weight has found a place to finally fall. Not because the world around you has been changing, but you're not holding it all. Go in peace, feel it settle in your breathing, like a rhythm that is slower than before. There is something in the calm you are now standing in that you don't have to search for. Go in peace, let it carry you much deeper, not in effort, not in trying to control. There is something in the quiet kind of presence that is holding your soul. Every fear that used to rise within your thinking, every place you tried to run away from pain, now it's meeting something softer in the silence, like it doesn't have to remain. And the more you stay within this quiet, knowing there is nothing you are trying to become, just a presence that is gently surrounding, like you've always been home. You don't need to keep on searching for the answer. You don't need to prove that you belong. has been here all along. Go in peace, feel the stillness all around you, like a space that doesn't close or disappear. There is something in the quiet kind of presence that will always be here. Go in peace, let it flow without resistance, not a place that you can lose or leave behind. There is something in the calm of this moment that is steady in your mind. Maybe you were always moving toward this moment. Maybe everything was leading to this place. Not an ending but a quiet kind of turning into something you can face. And the peace is not a feeling that is passing, it's a ground that you are learning how to stand. And the more you stay within it without forcing, the more it understands. Go in peace now, you are resting in the answer. Not a question, not a path you have to find. There is something in the quiet kind of presence that is steady in your mind. Go in peace, feel it moving through your being, like a calm that doesn't shift or go away. There is something in the stillness you are holding that is here to stay. In the silence you are breathing without trying. In the calm you are exactly where you are. Go in peace, and as the quiet keeps on flowing, you will never be too far. Go in peace, and the stillness keeps repeating, like a rhythm softly moving in your soul. What you found was never distant, never missing. It was always making you whole.